Alright, in the previous video I showed you how to create a Route53 health check, and I said I would show you how to add a custom domain to your API gateway in the next video. Before we do that, you might be interested in how to register a domain and an SSL certificate to go along with it. That's what we are going to do in this video. The only prerequisite for this video is that you have bought the domain you want to use. You can buy the domain from any provider you want. It does not need to be AWS at all, you just need to have permission to administer the domain. If you choose to buy the domain in AWS Route53, a Route53 hosted zone will be created automatically for you. If not, then you must manually create it on your own, which is what we are going to do very soon. But first, what is a hosted zone? A hosted zone is a Route53 concept. It represents a collection of records that can be managed together, belonging to a single parent domain. By the way, you can only create a hosted zone for a domain that you own or can administer. With that out of the way, let's start creating a hosted zone for our domain. Go over to Route53 and under Hosted Zones, click Create Hosted Zone. Now provide the domain name. When it comes to type, I'll use a public hosted zone since I'm not going to send requests within a custom VPC. Now just click Create. If you are using a different provider than AWS for your domain, which is the case for me as well, make sure to copy the name server values you get here to your domain provider. This way, queries to your domain is routed to the Route53 name servers. Before we continue, if you like my videos and want to learn more about serverless and AWS, please consider subscribing to my channel and smash that bell icon to get notified when I publish more content. Now that we have created the hosted zone, we need to create a certificate to go along with our domain. AWS has a service for that, called AWS Certificate Manager. This lets us request new certificates or import existing ones. I'm going to request a new one since I don't already have one for my domain. One thing you should know before requesting a certificate is that if you intend to use the certificate with a CloudFront distribution, the certificate must be located in the US East 1 region. Otherwise, your CloudFront distribution won't be able to utilize it. Given that you are located in the region you want to create the certificate in, click Request a Certificate. I want to create a public certificate, and that's the default as well. So I'll just hit Next. Oh, by the way, public certificates are free while private ones are not. We now need to add the domain we want the certificate to be valid for. I'll just type in my domain. If you want to create a subdomain for your root domain, then you also need to add them by clicking Add another name to this certificate. You may want to add www, for example, and if you don't yet know what subdomains you will create in the future, you can also just add a wildcard for any subdomain. The next step is to select a validation method. This is to verify that you are actually the owner of this domain. I'll use the DNS validation since that's recommended by AWS. It's also the easiest since I already have registered the domain in Route53. Now click Request. If the certificate doesn't show here, just click Refresh. As you can see, the status is now pending validation. What we need to do now is to add some CNAME records provided by AWS Certificate Manager, or ACM, to our Route53 hosted zone. This will enable ACM to validate the ownership of our domains. So to do that, open the certificate. Under Domains, you can see the validation status of each domain or subdomain. And over here, you can now click Create Records in Route53. All the domains should now be selected like this, and we can click Create Records. It will take some time before the records are created and the certificate is verified. I'll pause the video for a second while we wait for that. Now you can see the certificate status has changed to Issued, and if we open the certificate, we can see the domain records have changed status to Success. If we go over to Route53 and the hosted zone, we can also see the records are created here. Notice that ACM removes the wildcard label when generating CNAME records for wildcard names. This way, the CNAME record generated by ACM for wildcard names, such as star.example.com, is the same record returned for the domain name without wildcard labels, or the root domain if you want. Now we can go ahead and use the domains as we want. Maybe create new subdomains and connecting them to different AWS services, such as API gateways, CloudFront distributions, S3 website endpoints, EC2 elastic IP addresses, etc. In the next video, I'll show you how to make use of this hosted zone to add a custom domain to an API gateway. Until next time, happy coding!